Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. Live, dead.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam Johnston.
And I am Leslie, bringing you your weekly dose of horror. And our guests are... Dun, 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 dun.
Tim Ashby! Zach Stroman!
Yeah!
Tim and Zach are back.
They're back,
Whoa.
baby.
Ooh, this is the second one we've seen.
Deep Red.
Second one we've seen together.
Mm-hmm.
But before, Leslie wasn't never here for those.
I was not.
So
Not
this is
in
the
that
first
one.
one where all four of us have been in together.
That's crazy.
So
then
it feels good.
Four of us in the
Yeah.
woods together.
Because then
Whoop.
we
Spoilers.
had also the lost episode.
The last episode.
Oh.
Yeah. But you weren't there for that one. You weren't there for
You were for
Nightmare
Friday
on
the
Elm Street?
13th?
No,
No.
I wasn't.
No, Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh, was
Yes.
I think you
I
were.
remember
believe-
watching that one.
Yeah, because I remember that was the biggest one we had yet.
Yes.
It
So-
was the biggest one, and unfortunately, it's lost in
Gone forever.
time. And
Oh,
never,
Yeah.
No,
it
it's
got
lost.
It was unfortunate. It's unfortunate loss,
Oh,
but
God.
We're here.
we're here. Maybe we'll get something as big as that again one day.
By the way, this is such good lore of like the lost episode. We'll never find it. Or will we?
Or
Or will we? Maybe one day it'll
Maybe one day it'll just appear.
be resurrected. It'll disappear. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Like the lost VHS
Like
cassette.
Yes, exactly. It's a VHS cassette recording of that episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy. I gotta find some place to play this.
Oh, there it is.
Well, I converted mine to Laserdisc, and I have no idea where
All
it
right,
is.
good. We have that backup at least.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, welcome.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah, happy to
Yay.
be back.
Yeah, good to have you both. Today's a special episode because it's 420.
What?
So we thought, why not celebrate and have a bigger episode?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And we thought you two would be the best to join us for this celebration. And we've
Keep it up.
already participated. So sorry if this conversation wanders off the
Sorry,
beaten
Mom,
path.
Dan.
Oh, I
There's
like
a
that.
lot of Woods references
Luckily-
going on today.
Yes. And luckily it's legal in Chicago, so...
Yeah, we're totally
Don't
All
worry,
right,
fine.
people. It's fine.
We're totally fine.
It's fine. Cool.
So don't call the cops.
Yeah, or the feds.
Or the feds. But please call someone because we're lost in the woods.
Oh, nice segue. What did we watch?
We watched The Ritual from 2017, directed by David Bruckner, written by Joe Barton. A group of old college friends reunite for a trip to a forest in Sweden, Northern Europe, but encounter a menacing presence there stalking them.
Ooh.
Dun.
Yeah,
Well,
Lost in the
that's not
Woods. Not fun. Lost in the
Mm.
Woods. This at times gave me like Blair Witch Project kind of
Mhm.
vibes,
Yes.
Oh,
where
totally.
like you. There's so many shots of them looking into the woods, and it's just woods.
Yep.
Mhm.
But they're
Mhm.
so it's like haunting because
Mhm.
it's such thick, dense area, and there you don't know how to escape, and
Are-
anything
It's
could move.
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our vision is obscured. It's absolutely, we can only see through these little lines. And those little lines are filled with something scary.
Very
So-
scary, and also some things that we're dealing with inside.
Mhm. The
But I don't
demons we
want
own.
to. I don't want to feel because I'm a man.
We're all
Today?
men. We don't.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
a
all...
man.
Yeah, yep.
But you know what happens when you go in the woods in Sweden in a horror movie? You gotta deal with monsters, and you gotta deal with the monsters inside of you,
Mhm.
and
And-
that's what happens.
And also, like, I thought them going hiking was
Yes, Captain.
symbolic because what do you have just time, you know? You're not really drinking, you're not, I mean, you can do drugs when you're hiking if you want.
Are you saying that you've done
But no, my
I wish I
parents
had.
watch this. I'm
Never.
just
that?
kidding.
Yeah, she's pure soul.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So like you just have time to just really ponder with your friends, and all they wanted to do was just drink.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, same, but also
They were probably wanting to drink more because they want to bury these feelings that they're all
Yep.
dealing with.
Right, exactly.
And not actually confronting what they're all feeling
Right.
We're
about
all
what just
guilty of
happened.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think too another like big image that we cut back to a lot are paths, you know.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Going down the right
Yes.
path or the wrong path. There's a couple moments where in this movie where they talk about staying on a path or going off path or finding a new path
Or
and,
finding a shortcut, going down the shortcut.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
and I think that they are themselves looking for probably a shortcut just to the end of this emotional trauma that they're all dealing with.
Mhm.
When instead they should have just followed their compass.
The entire time.
Yeah.
They should have just
Freaking
done
logic.
the smart thing and done it the whole time.
But they were done. They were done with traveling. They wanted to go to the hotel.
Get
To-
drunk.
get a fucking
drunk.
drink.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the top,
Make
Sweet.
it drop.
the ritual.
Hey.
Here we go. Well, we do start at a bar.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Classic starting at a
Mhm.
bar. This is where we're introduced to the friend group,
Mhm.
who is 5 people
5 people this
right
time.
now.
Right.
We got our main character, who is Luke,
Mhm.
and then we have Hutch and Phil and Dom and Rob.
Rob.
Rob. Rob.
Yeah, that's who I was missing.
Rob is the 5th, and they're all talking about what they want to do for holiday because they are British.
Yep.
This is
Yeah,
a
I think
They
British-
all go on holidays.
They're trying to plan their boys' trip, their boys' weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Which they didn't want to do something normal, like, I want to do something different, not just go
Right.
to Amsterdam again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So they're heading back to someone's place, and then they stop at the convenience store
They stop at a liquor store.
on the way.
To get a
Mhm.
bottle.
They get a bottle.
And it's Rob and Luke at that point.
They go into the store to
Nothing,
get.
nothing out of the ordinary about this, going into this store at first.
No, I
Yeah.
actually like how this beginning part is building. I mean, you can really tell that these guys seem like really good friends,
Mhm.
and also these two in particular seem
Close.
pretty close.
Mhm.
They go in together, and he's like, I really want to go on this trip together. Like, this is going to be fun. It'll be cool to get out and do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And then very unexpectedly, we just turn around and the convenience store clerk is like
Beat him.
in the
Yeah, beat
corner.
up.
And this is when things turn for sure. Guys coming out from the back, robbing the store.
Mhm.
And Luke right away just does a quick like turn around and hides behind the
Hides.
bottles.
Mhm.
That just like completely starts
Yeah.
his whole arc
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
It's like the
Yeah.
beginning
Right.
of
That's where it
His
starts because
journey.
Rob's just there.
He wanted to go and help the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rob is being robbed.
someone had to
And-
say it.
I mean, yeah. And so then they say, like, all right, give us your wallet, give us this, give us this. And he's like, okay, here. And then they finally demand, give us your wedding ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. No. And then he like makes eye contact with Luke. And Luke is just like, don't do it, man. I'm not coming out. I'm not helping you.
And this whole time he's kind of like he's like grabbing a bottle and like kind of thinking
Almost
about
about to
going
do it.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then he still just
Frozen.
doesn't make
He's-
that decision. Yeah.
Right.
He's
And
frozen
then-
in fear. Like,
Mhm.
imagine being in that situation. It would
Mhm.
suck
It
either
would.
way. Oh my god.
Yep.
And they're just over it, so they just bash
then
him on the head.
And it's
Twice.
brutal.
It's
like-
pretty graphic.
And then like the last thing that Rob sees when he's like the light is flickering from his eyes is like Luke, and then he dies, right?
Yeah, it's like another smack
And
to
then
his
just-
head.
Mhm.
And then that like gets him face down.
Yeah.
And
And then boom, it's Luke waking up.
In a
In a tent.
In a tent.
6
tent.
months later.
6 months later.
So
Northern
far,
Sweden.
the way the shots are so intentional. There's so many like tight ones in people's faces, so then
Mhm.
you're not looking at the overall kind of picture. So then when it does happen, you are, I don't know, disoriented a little bit,
Mhm.
Blindsided for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
which our characters tend to go through over and over and over again.
Yep.
I feel like the beginning here, I just thought of this too. It's like, sorry to move ahead a little bit, but he goes through all these dream sequences throughout the movie.
Mhm.
It's almost like that first initial him waking up in Sweden is almost him coming out of this dream of remembering
Mhm.
Yeah.
the incident
Oh.
itself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's almost like that whole first opening is a dream as well.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like boom, now we're in Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he could have dissociated for that
Mhm.
time. We're like 6 months later.
Yeah. And it's interesting, cutting ahead to go talk about this moment. It's interesting because if his initial hallucination happened and saw the whole thing in its entirety, as it goes on, it starts to lose, like he starts to lose the specific images, and then it becomes part of the
More
forest.
of the forest
Right.
creeping into it. Yep.
Yeah.
I absolutely love
I-
that throughout.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great set design.
And
Yes.
this whole beginning part, without us knowing now, when we're watching it, it does such a good job of just setting up all these little motifs that then come back throughout the movie and warp and change. But it's so important what we just saw, because that sequence just repeats so many times through this whole movie. And I mean, you called it right when it happened. You're like, oh, that's like,
There's the arc.
there's the arc.
Yep.
This is gonna be his journey trying to get over this event.
And it's interesting too, because Luke is the first one up, so he feels isolated from those other guys, and they're all isolated from each other and all that stuff in their different tents too. So
Yeah.
that's a visual.
Each getting up, kind of rubbing their eyes, getting their bearings. And this music is almost like ritualistic. I mean, I thought, because it says the ritual, it's like this beating drum and then these high-pitched
Like violins.
screeching violins. It's wild and unsettling.
It's ominous.
It's cool. Very cool. Sets
Even
the tone.
Even
Oh,
the
yeah.
landscape they're showing is very dark, and like it's very beautiful, but at the same time there's like the fog rolling in and these big open shots of like this gray landscape that's
so
also
beautiful.
And they're moving along in these like mass, and you can barely see them tiny walking along these paths. And they already feel kind of lost within this landscape. So they're setting up with the music and with these long ominous shots exactly the tone of everything that's going to happen throughout the whole movie already. Without them even realizing it, they're getting lost.
Because also
Bah.
we get a character who's going to be dragging everybody down.
Yes,
yes,
pretty much
Dom.
immediately, right?
Yeah.
Dom gets
Twists
injured.
his knees. Or his knee, yeah.
even before that he's just complaining the whole time, like, ugh, can't breathe, he's not good at hiking. Like,
Well, I mean, like, it's big Swedish mountains, and they're not acclimated. They're still city people. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I would be wheezing and like, oh, this sucks. Let's sit down 5 more minutes.
Leave.
Ugh.
And all they're talking about, is like, all right, just like keep going, and we're gonna get to the pub. Like they're
Right.
using like the alcohol motivation.
Yeah.
He's like, just keep pushing, and we'll get drinks soon. Like that's all, pretty much all they're talking about, really, at the beginning of this movie is just wanting to get back so they can get a drink. But they're out here to. There's a specific name for those like little rock things that you set up.
Oh, yeah.
like a cairn.
Is that what that's called?
I mean, kind of. I
Like
guess
a
it's kinda-
shrine?
It's a little
it's like
shrine.
a shrine.
Yeah.
It's almost like a ritual to say goodbye to their friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have their own little ritual of setting up this shrine for Rob. And they put his picture there. It looks like they put like some more like little random things on there.
Little trinkets and stuff.
Little trinkets. And it's interesting because they don't really say much. You know,
No.
they kind of just set it up,
sitting there.
and they each just go around and have a sip from the flask and then pour the rest out for Rob.
Which, did you see Phil's face? He was like, like, stop,
Yeah.
you're wasting it.
Yeah.
Damn it. Don't worry, we're going to get back soon. But yeah, not much is said.
Nope.
No.
Because they're guys.
They
You don't
said
talk
like
about that.
one or
Hold it
two
in.
words, and that's it.
And
Right.
you even commented, like, no one's crying.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah,
No
that's
one's
true.
even
yeah.
really that emotional.
Everyone is like holding it,
holding something in.
Yeah.
Anger.
A fart, maybe.
Anger.
I have been.
Oh, sorry.
Phil.
Phil. God, I need that whiskey. Then this injury happens, and
They have to.
They have to-
go through the shortcut.
originally they were going to go around this, I guess, dense woods, but they're just like, you know what?
Just gotta go through it.
Let's just cut right through.
Why the hell would you do that?
Because we're men.
Because we're manly
Y'all.
men.
It's not going to be that hard. We'll just cut
Tight.
through. We'll just cut. I don't know why they thought like going through dense wood would be easier for the guy on the like.
Because it's
Yeah.
a shorter
Right.
distance.
That was,
Yeah.
that was
like-
the only thing. It's like as the crow flies, this is the easiest way to get back
Right.
Right.
to the
Yeah.
water.
Because it's like going around the mountains was 14 miles, but then going through is only 8.5 or something.
It'd take them like a day instead of 2 or 3 days.
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
That's not a good idea,
that's
folks.
not a good idea. We just want to cut short of
No.
our feelings.
Right.
And get
Oh.
straight back.
We want to take a
home.
shortcut.
Just want to take a
Yeah.
shortcut. Don't want to be part of the feelings train anymore. I'm out of here.
Right.
So they do venture into the woods.
Le woods.
There was like this
Le
broken
woods.
down VW
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
on the edge of
yeah.
it.
right outside.
That's a weird place to park.
And it's like it's like kind of
Everything's a relic here.
it's kind of a foreboding
Yeah.
image of like, where are those people?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh-oh.
As soon
It's
as
like
we get
this.
in, a deer is pinned
Tribute.
branches and
Yeah,
trees.
it's like flayed, like eviscerated. Like
Yeah,
all
it's like
insides of it.
disemboweled.
The entrails are on the ground.
Yeah, and
and it's like skins up in the trees. And like,
Mhm.
And they're like, could a bear do that?
that ain't what I've seen on the
Huh.
Discovery Channel.
yeah, Hutch is like, that's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh
Yeah.
well.
Uh,
I wonder what did that.
yeah.
No one's that concerned, but also,
Well, they're still like ribbing each other and joking around and
Right.
yeah, like man, I need a drink from this. And also, it like must have recently happened too.
Right,
It was
because
still
It was
dripping.
fresh.
It's still
Yeah.
dripping.
yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if I would. I'd just be like, okay, we can go the other way. We'll just take
Like,
the 14
I-
hours.
You know,
right. Let's
at
just
this
go back
point,
right
fuck it.
now.
Yeah, this isn't looking good.
Right.
But I guess you don't know you're in a horror.
But you're
movie.
not a toxic masculine man. Like
Oh,
these men
everything
are.
that they were doing up until like the cabin was everything you don't do in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like almost intentionally they were just like making a point of
Mhm.
being like, oh yeah, they're gonna see that and be like, whatever.
Yeah,
Stupid man.
because we're not.
That's the subtext of the movie.
That's
They're
basically
stupid.
yeah. Men are dumb.
dumb man.
Oh, just a
Oh, I
little
just got
bit.
Just dumb.
No, you're good.
Just dumb.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're fine.
And again, when we're going into the like starting to go into the woods, we're getting a lot of these like static shots that are looking into the trees, and the trees are just like filling the entire
Mhm.
frame.
Oh yeah, it's freaky.
And you can kind of see them like moving in and out of the trees, but it's so thick and you don't know what your depth of field is, so you don't know how many trees are actually in between us and them.
Right.
And it seems like a lot more when they start moving because you're like, oh shit, I can barely see them
Mhm.
out there. Very
Okay.
trapping,
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
claustrophobic, and very trapping. There's a lot of these shots that they play with through the entire time that they're in the woods from now on.
Mhm.
Which is really building a cool mood, I think, and tone for the movie.
Absolutely.
Very closed in.
Everything, like, we always know something bad is coming.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We don't know exactly what, but we're just, like, every one of these shots, at least I was looking for something to move or... Because you
Which we
just
got.
know something bad's there.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, you know it. But we get to... They have to... I think it took them longer than they thought.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, they
Also-
got caught in a storm, right?
Yeah.
It
And-
started raining, and
Really
that's when
hard.
they ran into the cabin.
And that's the thing too. The more woods they are, more trees, the light doesn't go through, so it's gonna get darker faster.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what ended up happening. And then there was a storm, so they came across a cabin, and
Found a cabin in the
A cheery
woods.
little place.
Mhm.
And
honestly.
that's always a good
Yeah.
sign in the middle of these
Well,
dense woods.
there was a rune that said that is a home.
True.
It's a home ruin. So I
Yes.
was like, hey,
Welcome home.
welcome home.
Our home is your
Yeah.
home. Hey.
Wipe your feet first.
Yeah. Please, welcome. And they break in.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, forcefully.
They bust in that they're just like, we have to go in, we can't stay out here. Luke this entire time, he's hearing shit
Mhm.
move in the woods.
He is
Oh
freaked.
yeah,
He knows something's out
he is spooked.
there. Very spooked. He's just like looking out there and you can hear things going past.
Also, you can
growling.
hear some growling.
Weird growling, yeah.
Weird growling.
Not just a normal animal.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
brings up those concerns to specifically Hutch, but also everyone else in the room. He's like, something's out there. He's like, there is something else here with us. And Hutch is like, yeah. I'm sure we're not the only animals out here.
Yeah,
Yes.
scary, but also like, don't be dismissive.
Yeah, if you can hear growling in the middle of a really hard rainfall, that's loud.
Yeah.
growling.
That's a
That's
big
a
animal.
tiger. That's a lion. Like, it's not something small.
Eh,
Yeah, it's fine.
it's fine.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah,
Shut up.
everyone goes to sleep.
Oh my
We'll just make a fire and we'll go to sleep.
We'll make a fire.
It's
Other than
fine. Don't worry.
Other than the deer at the beginning, were there any other animals in that whole movie?
No.
There was nothing else in that forest except them and
Mhm.
it.
We never saw any other animal. Yeah, and if we did, it ended up
I'm good.
In the trees.
in the trees.
Latrice.
In the trees. But unfortunately for Phil, they kind of tease him and make him go check upstairs.
Get firewood.
What was the rationale of sending someone by themselves to check the rest of the house?
Right.
I don't understand how they got to that. Thought that was a good idea.
Because we're men.
Because they're manly men.
I don't know.
They just teased him into doing it.
Yep.
You're like, well, I'm not going to do it.
Maybe
Get off
because
that
they
film.
know that he is a little bit more afraid
Yeah.
than everybody else.
Yeah, which is still mean though, because we're in someone else's. You don't know if
Should
another
be
people
a-
are in this house. You
Right.
know? It's
Travel
like,
by two.
two at
Always.
least.
Two.
But Phil goes upstairs and finds some really fucking weird shit. He opens that door and finds a little
Like a
stick
shrine.
man,
Mm-hmm.
headless stick man, who's got like antlers, like being held up here.
Like
Little
ready
duck
to
feet.
go whenever there's a human head.
you knew like that a head was gonna fill that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just empty, and the neck was like, it
Ready
was
to go.
Creepy.
creepy looking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Poor Phil.
Yeah.
Poor Phil.
And his immediate reaction is like, guys, come up here. You have to see this.
Yeah.
Come up here.
And then maybe just leave.
Just maybe get
Just-
out.
Yeah, but it is raining.
It's still
really
raining.
hard.
yeah, but it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not a great situation they're in, but I would be way more concerned than they are. And then they, I think it's go to sleep time, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That really cool lightning scene where it was just like flashing on his face and then,
it just
Yeah.
stayed on.
yep.
Just-
That was awesome.
It was
Cool transition.
Yeah.
And then you didn't know, like we were like, oh, did it change today?
Right.
Like
Right.
we didn't really know what was
Is he
going on.
dreaming?
He walks out the front door and he's in the convenience.
Oh
Yeah.
my
From the beginning.
god.
This is our first like dream sequence that we get. And it's pretty much he just goes and looks at the bottle that he almost used as a weapon and like drops of blood or something are in there.
blood. It starts like down. Yeah.
And then
It like pulls the shelf away from him and he's in the woods again. right?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Those shots are incredible.
Really
yeah,
well
the
done.
walls just fell apart and he
Mhm.
and it's at that point I didn't know if we were still in the dream or if he woke up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we realized that he has slept walk outside
Mhm.
and now he's back right outside of the cabin.
He's got
and
this
Yeah.
like
oh yeah,
He's got
got
this
blood
like
stains start-
wound.
showing on his
He
shirt.
just he stabbed him and that's when he wakes up.
everyone else inside is screaming.
Yeah, freaking the fuck
Yeah.
out.
Everyone
Oh god.
and he goes in and has to wake everybody else up because they're in their own nightmares.
Right.
Hutch is screaming. He
Hutch
peed
is
himself.
Pees himself.
Mhm.
Dom is like in a corner, like his
Screaming his wife.
you see his like busted up knee and his glasses are off and he's like
Gail
screaming about his wife Gail.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where's Phil?
And Phil
upstairs
butt naked, worshiping the thing.
on his knees.
He's like, what are you doing?
He-
He's like,
he
"I don't
looked like-
know."
Yeah, no one knows what they were doing.
Oh.
Right.
He looks also like his body was dirty, but like he was going like this or
Mhm.
something because there weren't scratches, but they were definitely like finger markings.
Something was getting under his skin.
Oof.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene because it was like we were following with Luke this whole time of him going to each person and finally ending with Phil. And just it was just so unsettling to see everyone coming out of these nightmares and just not knowing where they are and having that realization, oh, we're still here. I think it's Dom who's like, look, there's a path right there. Let's follow it.
Right.
And Hutch is like, that's not even in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would we just follow this path?
And also that big ass creature made it. Like,
Yeah.
those trees look like they just got broken. And
Yeah, it's like the trees are separated. Like,
whoa.
it doesn't look like humans.
Like,
Did that.
I'm not gonna bring it to religion.
Like
Moses?
Yeah.
The Red Sea.
It was a weird woods monster parting the green sea. There you go.
This is where they all break into dance and song.
Pants free.
Oh no.
Pants. It always comes back to that.
So, in case you're wondering what we're talking about right now, we're talking about a TikTok that's fucking funny as hell, and it's about unlock your pants around your feet, unlock your feet around your pants. Okay, I'm trying to.
Thank you, Tim, for context, please.
420.
Oh gosh! All right, so Sam cut in here.
I'm trying to say a different
and
way.
we-
I'm trying to do a different way of saying 420 every time, so that they can be a promo of 420, 420.
Can you do different languages?
420.
All right, Swedish.
I was gonna say.
Oh no!
Swedish chef.
Canceled.
No, chef.
Canceled.
All right.
Oh no!
I want this clip deleted.
It's saved forever.
It's live.
It's saved forever. Yeah, we're live streaming actually right now.
Yep.
I
On
didn't tell you
Twitch.
that.
The chat's blowing up right now.
Everything's blowing up right now.
Yeah, what's
My
up,
computer's
y'all?
blowing up right now.
I really did mean Swedish chef. I'm sorry if you're offended.
Immediate apology. All right, so where the heck are we?
Follow the
is
path. The
created.
path.
The path is created. It's a bad path. You don't want
It's a
to go
bad
down
path.
that
Don't go
path.
down
But they
that
do
path.
go down that path
course
because fuck it, why not? It's a path.
Because the injured guy says he's going first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts leading, and I mean, he's not doing great.
Nope.
This is, I think,
No.
when they're talking about all the food that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think you're right.
That
Because
sounds
he was
right.
like, "Oh, I'm hungry."
Because they're trying to not focus on the
current
traumatic
situation.
thing that just happened. They're trying to focus on what's next.
Yes.
The reward.
And no one is talking about, and I think they actually even get to the point of like, are we not going to address
Right.
what
Phil's
just
like-
happened?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like,
Phil.
we all-
It's like, no, I don't want to. I pissed myself and I'm embarrassed.
Right.
Yeah, Hutch is just like, nope, we're not talking about it.
No.
We're getting out of here.
Dom also's like, "No, I don't want to talk about this."
Well, he was still just
going.
like in denial
yeah.
Right.
the whole time.
The whole time his character is just like, we just got to keep moving,
Mhm.
not deal with anything that's going on, and just keep going. He just wants to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps pushing people to get up, and we got to go. Like at one point, I think in this next scene, Dom says like, I got to take a break. I got to take 10, and he's like, no, you got to get back up right now. We got to get out of here
Mhm.
because it's getting dark again.
It's getting dark.
We don't want to spend another night in these woods.
Right.
So, but he's just like, he seems like such an asshole because he just keeps pushing everybody, but he is just trying to get everybody out of there, and he's the only one that's kind of pushing everybody this whole movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, Luke, this is when I yelled and I was like, "Oh my God, I get it." Luke kind of guided Rob to his death, and now he is kind of the guidance to their death. Even though Hutch is like pushing them forward, it is fucking Luke's destiny, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because they're there because Rob wanted to go hiking.
Yes. And adding another layer onto it, they went into the convenience store to get alcohol, and there's this whole thing of them burying things and their feelings with alcohol, because all they're talking about in these beginning parts is, I just need a drink. I just need a drink to keep getting through this, and that's probably what they've been doing this whole time.
The whole movie's an anti-drinking ad.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a dare. It's a dare program.
And
Don't
even
drink.
there's the image of Luke hiding behind the bottles of alcohol. So he's hiding behind alcohol to face these issues, you know? So it really is all just a big metaphor for feeling guilty that you did kind of lead your friend to his death, in this case with alcohol.
Yeah.
And you did nothing to help him.
And you could have thrown that bottle of alcohol.
You could have bashed it over his head.
But you held on to it.
And you just hid behind the alcohol.
You hid behind it. Yikes. But guess what? No one wants to talk about that shit.
No.
No one wants to talk about that shit. Especially Hutch. He wants to
just get out of here.
This was before the night fell, when he's like, I'm going to try and go up there and see if I can see anything. And he sees something.
Oh, shit. That's true. The little hand. The little hand over the tree.
He sees the monster.
Woo!
Yeah, he's like, they're all arguing, and he's like, I'll just go check out up there. And it's just more woods.
Yep.
It's a little lighter.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, this looks a little nicer up here. But it is just more woods. And we have another one of those just filled frames of a bunch of woods.
And you see just like this little movement of like the fingers on the tree.
He's like, what is that? And then hand
Disappear.
moving away from a tree. Like, oh, creepy little hand.
And it starts moving, but I think instead of it coming towards us, it was going towards the cabin. He's like, he's guiding them over there, you know?
Because what they say too later is it's hunting them.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it knew we were coming this way.
Yeah.
It put it there to show us
which way to go. Yeah.
So then after this, I forgot, Luke shows his wound, and then that's when Dom starts to basically say, this is your fault that we're here.
Yeah.
This is,
that was an intense scene.
Yeah.
that was the like, this is what's wrong with you scene.
Yeah, he's like, well, we would have never... It was kind of like we would have never been in this situation if you hadn't...
And then
like,
Hutch immediately like cuts him down. He's like, stop it. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hutch keeps saying, like...
Because we don't talk about anything.
Because
No.
we're not fighting. No.
Why would we?
And yeah, Dom is like had it. He's like, I'm saying what we're all feeling.
Yep.
Right.
Essentially. And it's
And
your
nobody-
fault that Rob's dead.
Right.
They think you didn't stick up for your friend when you could have. You didn't fight for your friend.
Mhm.
There wasn't even any blood
There
on
was no
you.
blood on you, yeah.
You couldn't do a
Blood on
single
you.
thing. And there is this like realization that Luke understands that everyone is feeling that way.
Right.
And he's very alone in this moment now. He's very isolated. Yes, in this big woods, but also from the three other people that he's with.
Yeah. The way they blocked it out, it was like him, and then it showed the three of them in their own separate shot. And very isolated.
Yikes. Which, I mean, I feel bad for Luke because that's a horrible situation to be put in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's to say that we wouldn't freeze up or that they wouldn't freeze up?
Right.
Exactly.
Just because they weren't there.
Just because they weren't. I mean, how would it sucks that he did stick up for him, but also like I kind of understand. Like,
Yeah.
you were terrified.
Everybody has a fight, flight, or freeze kind of reaction, so you can't ever tell what you're gonna like react.
Life's like a box of fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
You never know what
Seriously.
you're gonna get.
Yep.
Yeah, and his friends just completely blame him at this point, whether they want to or not. They do.
Right.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks off on his own. He's like, "All right, I understand now. I'm not your friends anymore." He says, "Like, I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend."
Yep.
He's just on his own, even though they still are traveling together.
It's
like,
very
He's
separate.
very distant. Yeah.
We get another dream sequence.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because Luke is in his tent and he hears like rustling outside, and then he sticks his head out and looks over, and the lights of the convenience store like flicker on, and it's like this mixture of
So
The forest is like
good.
creeping in.
and the convenience
lights.
store.
Yeah, so cool.
And does he see Rob during that at some point?
I think he's.
Doesn't
I don't
he
think
see
he
Rob
does,
actually get killed or something? Or does somebody has the thing's eyes?
I think that's later.
No, it is this one.
Yeah.
So he sees Rob dying, and then the person robbing him has those like
The yellow
Just-
eyes.
yellow white
White,
eyes.
yeah.
That wasn't the next one?
And he calls him coward. No,
Right.
You're right. You're right.
calls him coward.
Or
Yeah,
maybe.
that's the right
Yeah,
one because
it
it's like
is.
directly related to Dom calling him a coward.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he looks over to another tent, and it just goes into the
Oh,
air.
my
Yup.
God.
And that's when he wakes up,
Two
screaming.
screaming.
More screaming.
Lots of screaming.
Yeah.
Phil's on the ground again,
Mhm.
doing the kneeling thing.
And he's like, "Oh, I saw with shadows." And then we look over at the tent; it's ripped open,
Hutch's tent
Hutch
is
is
all ripped
gone.
up. Yeah.
and he's gone. And we hear him screaming in the woods.
Mhm.
And then we hear growling, and then suddenly he's not screaming anymore.
Yep.
That's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, for a second, they go and try to look for him. But Dom's like, "Hey, we can't just go running off into the woods in the middle of the night. We got to go back to the tent and like get our bearings and wait for light, essentially," which that's awful.
Rafe,
Yeah.
Luke reluctantly agrees on that one. He's like, but he's screaming. He's screaming.
Fine.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's almost there. He's almost brave, but he's
Yeah.
not quite there yet.
He's like trying so desperately to save someone,
Right.
to like redeem himself.
Right. Right.
But he can't. He can't
Right.
do it. And it's the next morning,
Mhm.
and they
It looks like they didn't even sleep at all.
no,
They're
They were
just
just-
sitting up.
Yeah.
just deadpan, nothing behind their eyes.
Mhm.
And then they find Hutch,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Disemboweled.
just like that deer,
Mhm.
looking like that deer up in the trees.
Mhm.
Owie.
And he's
Oh,
fresh
yikes.
blood too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So this is like the first real for them. I mean, they've seen weird things, and that was really weird what just happened to them last night. But this is the first like confirmation that this is some
real.
real deadly life and death game
Mhm.
we're
now
playing
it's
right
personal.
now. Uh-oh. And
Oh.
oh no.
Oh
No.
Get me home. Get me to the pub.
No, please. Give me a Guinness.
You making his list. Yeah, and honestly, like I think the acting throughout this whole movie is actually really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
100%.
And this is another just good scene of all of their reactions to what just
Oh
happened.
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
God. Yeah.
So like I think Dom starts screaming, just like,
Mhm.
"Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god, oh my god." Luke is kind of just like collapsed, and so is Phil.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oof. That was a
It looked like Luke was gonna throw up, and
Mhm.
he just doesn't. But he's just like, "What the hell?"
yeah. He was like retching. He was like,
Yeah.
oh god,
That's terrible.
that smells so bad.
This is a bad omen.
No.
When did Richard Nixon come into the movie?
I think that was supposed to be Gregory Peck.
Oh.
But I can see that.
Makes more sense.
I am not a crook.
I am not a crook.
I did not eviscerate this man. I promise. They got to keep going though.
Yeah.
I think because they get him down from the tree, and Dom is like desperate to bury him.
Yeah.
Well, they have to get him down because he has the compass.
Oh yeah.
That too.
And like they're
Yeah.
freaking out, like it's all bloody, and they have to like, okay, I got it. Okay, where do we go? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh,
And
God.
Dom is just, he wants to bury him. He wants to like say something for him.
Mhm.
And Luke is like, we got to go.
Yep.
He's the one
He's
who's
Hutch
like
now.
pushing people to,
Mhm.
to go.
He's
And
the
like,
leader.
We got to do it. He covers him in sticks.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Which feels weird, like it's weirdly ominous
Yeah.
in that, like it's our version of a ritual or something.
Yeah. And it almost to me is like, I mean, because it's kind of like a tree monster. In the
Mhm.
end. It's like kind of the image is like the earth swallowing him kind of
Mhm.
Oh,
The forest is
into the
Yeah.
ground or something.
hmm
It's very, yeah, it doesn't look like a peaceful rest.
No.
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 At all. But they got to get out of there quickly. We
Mhm.
got to go before nightfall again. But don't they come across another cabin and are like, nope, we're not going
Yeah,
in there.
You know what? We're learning
Should we
from
take
our
a peek
mistakes.
inside?
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, that's actually good.
They're growing. Good.
Good idea. Let's not go into the cabin. But they end up getting more close to this ridge again. Like I remember them scaling like some like
Yeah, they're going
cliff
uphill,
or
right?
something. Oh, and that's when we have like the thing moving in the background.
Oh yeah, like right in the
Mhm.
gap of the trees.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It was
They
just
did a good job of just like little bits and pieces sprinkled in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at this point we know it's sticky.
It's big.
It's big, it's sticky, but we can't really
Sticky.
I kept writing down Treebeard because
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Yeah.
kind of what it looks like.
You said
Yeah.
Little Hobbit.
That would have been cool if it ended up being him. Hey, I'm cool.
And he's just killing everybody.
He's just killing everybody. I thought you were orcs. But then they get to the top of this like rock sheer, and Luke goes off to find another clearing in the
Mhm.
We
woods.
see the light up through the trees, right?
He
It
can see-
looks
he's like,
very hopeful.
I can see the end.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the end.
It's so fucking far away.
It's so
Mhm.
far away. Yeah, he's like, we're
Oh,
close.
yeah.
I was like,
No.
that doesn't look close.
That's another day in there.
At least, yeah.
Yes.
And then he sees like little torches.
Oh yeah, that was where it's like, oh
Nope.
fuck.
It's like,
Okay.
Creepy.
not good. That ain't good.
That ain't good.
But he's excited. He's like, hey guys, I found it. And then snatched Phil,
Mm-hmm.
the weird creature
Oh yeah, it's
thing.
like right
It's
out.
like,
of
I
it.
hear something.
We heard
And
something.
Bye-bye.
When it happens, he like actually crouches down and hides behind this tree.
Mm-hmm.
Then he runs away and
Which
Yeah,
Dom
that's right.
totally called. He's like, you probably just ran into a tree or something. That's why you got
Oh,
the
that's
marks
right.
on you.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
right.
god.
you went out into the woods and you ran into a tree. Well, yeah, fair. But he smack into a tree and we go into
Convenience store.
convenience store.
Oh, that's right. That is how the next stream started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And isn't this also is this also the one where he leaves the convenience store and sees all
That's
of them?
what I was
Sees
just-
Yes.
them looking at him.
Yes. He leaves
And then Phil grabs a flashlight.
just raises it up in his face, and that's when he.
And that's when he wakes up
Oh.
and the light's in his face. Yep.
yeah, that's when he comes to.
And then
Ugh, those
he's
transitions
looking
in
for
and out
Dom.
are so great.
Oh, they're so cool. Yeah.
Oof.
Dom is there.
Oh yeah, they like do a
Freaked
little
out.
like
Yeah.
boom, there's his face.
Hi, it's me. He's like in the little tree.
He's like, shh, 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 shh.
Yeah.
Can you look creepier? Could you?
Yeah, I know. Could you?
Gollum. little tree goblin over there or
Mhm.
something. And yeah, they're just like
It was creepy.
it was creepy. I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Little
And
jump
they're
scare.
reunited again, and Luke is still in that like pusher mode.
Like,
He's like
I'm the leader now. We're doing this.
Get a little
Mhm.
humor in this part too, where he's like, "Hey, you know, like piggyback me." He's like, "No, we have to
No,
run."
you gotta go.
we're running right now.
Stop being a little asshole. Let's
There's
go.
a big
Yeah.
tree monster
Mhm.
after us, and we have to run.
Mhm. So they run to the cabin.
They get to another cabin, and this is where we find those torches that he saw. In
Oh
the
yeah, they're like
distance.
Yeah.
leading them to
He's
the
like
cabin.
running down, and trees are going crazy in the background, and yeah, I mean clearly people live there.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they think this is exactly where we need to be. These people will
Thank
help
God.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, more than that monster thing that's killed half of the crew.
True. I guess it's
So-
their last hope, kind of.
Yeah.
Follow the lights, and they get into the cabin, and immediately Luke is knocked out. Boink.
Mhm.
But with this person kicking him in the head.
Yeah.
That was a cool little sequence too, with like all the upside down point of view shots of him
Mhm.
looking around.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
And
Uh-huh.
they wake up in shackles. They're shackled to the wall. They hear a lot of growling and moaning upstairs.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that was weird.
They're like, yeah, some like weird.
Kind of sounded like a Tom Waits song.
But burn.
Love you, Tom.
Hey, you want to come on the show, Tom?
Sick burn.
Please.
If you can handle,
No.
if you can handle that kind of heat.
Ooh.
Can ya?
He can. He's Tom Waits.
Yeah.
But the old lady comes in.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say with this Russian doll scene.
Yeah.
Where the door opens and it's like a big guy. He comes in, and then behind him, a small old woman comes in.
Yep.
And then you said a more tiny woman.
More
A
time.
more
woman's
tiny
gonna
person
come
comes in. No, just a tiny woman. But it was just kind of a funny moment.
And she's like chewing gum too. She's
Yeah.
like,
And she just pours the water in his mouth.
Right.
mhm.
And
Well,
then
she checks to see if.
she sees
That's
that
right,
he has
she
the
sees the
same
mark.
mark as he does. Yeah.
Yeah, because she goes to Luke and checks the mark.
Mhm.
And then she gives him the water.
Yep.
But she doesn't go and give the water to Dom.
Nope.
Because
She's just like looking at him.
he ain't got the mark.
Right.
He ain't got that
So-
mark.
Not one of
Mm-mm.
us.
She
And
says something.
In a different language.
Mhm.
Oh no. Yeah, it was Sims
420.
He's back.
talk. It was Sims talk. And they take Dom out. This is the
Yeah.
scene where they drag him
Mhm.
out
Yep.
Uh-huh.
and do God knows what
They-
to him.
Oh
Fucking
yeah, it
torture
sounded
him.
terrible.
He's like upstairs,
screaming,
and you can hear him screaming, and
Oh,
hear this
God,
continued
no.
growling going on, but we never find out what was actually
No.
going on.
Mm-mm. Well, they
Just a little
were
tenderizing.
preparing him for sacrifice. That's
Mhm.
what she said.
Getting that fear going.
Yeah, you said something about tenderizing him.
Right.
Mhm.
I thought that was
Getting
pretty
the
funny.
getting the tears,
They're just
getting the
massaging
fear
him.
loose.
Yeah. Breaking his ribs. And
Ah! I have so many knots.
ooh, hello.
Lower. Because then they return him, and he's fine.
They were
Oh, he's like
They
beating
return
a
him.
pole.
Oh, he's
He
beaten
was
to a
totally
pulp.
fine.
He was fine.
Just a little blood. It's
Better
a
than how he
little
ends up.
heal.
This scene is very interesting because they bring him back, and then Dom says, "I'm gonna die here." I saw it.
This is the big turn for his character, where he's
Mhm.
like,
I
he's
never told you
accepted
about
his
my
fate,
nightmare.
and he's like
Yeah.
talking about his dream and like making amends with Luke.
Yeah.
Like, before he goes.
Mhm, mhm.
It's like,
And he said, like, make sure Gail knows I tried to come back.
mhm.
And that was a very important thing for him.
And
And-
his
Oh, and he's like, you're gonna leave this place and burn it all to the ground on your
Mm.
way out too.
listen to me.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm predicting because then he's taken out there. He's on the rune of the sacrifice, and the monster comes over, and for the most part, he didn't seem all that broken about the fact that he was about to die. He wasn't screaming. He was screaming the words like, "Come and do it," or
You're
like,
fuck you, let's
Yeah.
go.
"Fuck you,
Let's
let's
get this over
go,
with."
let's get this over with."
Because he was standing out there from like it turned from night
Hours.
to day.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
And
all just
then-
waiting.
Gail comes out of the woods and she comes over and is looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
And
And-
I'm just thinking that before we get into the description of the monster,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that perhaps his dream is the whole entire experience.
Hmm.
So of the beginning of everybody dying to the point that he was gonna die.
Hmm.
He'd seen all of that, and then at the end, Gail sees him dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
That
him
was his-
screaming Gale
Mhm.
Yep.
when he was dreaming. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he has like the knowledge of everything that's gonna happen.
Yes.
Right.
Almost.
Mm.
So that's why he was able to like predict, essentially.
Yeah,
It's
'cause-
also like why he's just like in denial the whole time. He's like, "There's not a monster chasing us. We're gonna get out of here. Like we just got to keep going. Like
Hmm.
Because he doesn't
none
want
of
it to
this
be
is
true.
real." Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He doesn't want it to. He doesn't. He doesn't. He hasn't accepted it, but in this scene, it seems like he's accepted his death and the fact that this is all
And
real.
Yep.
I'm thinking that's what Hutch also saw
Mm,
from that point
Mm.
till his death.
they are all just haunted by their impending deaths.
Because I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure that's the reason why he told him, like, you're the strongest one of us.
Mm.
Oh.
'Cause,
Maybe.
yeah,
Good
I
call.
mean, just a little
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
No.
thing.
Well,
I don't
tidbit.
know,
Sneaking.
maybe?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there is that crazy transition where Gale is like holding
holding him like
Dom's face like very lovingly, and then it
Mhm.
goes to crazy monster face.
The monster!
or just eyes. Really, it's
Yeah,
like
just-
a black void with eyeballs.
Those yellow
It's like an
eyes.
evil Jawa.
Those horrible
Isn't it
yellow
Loki's son?
eyes.
Horrible.
Isn't it Loki's son? Isn't
Mhm.
It's
a
That's what
bastard
they
demigod?
said.
son of Loki.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the
Way to
one
go,
of the
Tom
village people comes into
I did think
the
that the whole time.
It's the construction worker.
it's the construction worker comes in to talk to Luke and is like, "This is the deal. Like, It's a god. It's a son of Loki, and we worship it, and it grants us
a privilege to worship.
It's a privilege to worship, and in return, it gives us no pain and eternal life, essentially.
Like alcohol, except for the eternal life thing. But
Right. Yes.
they're hiding their grief behind this monster.
Mm-hmm. They don't have to deal with anything because they don't have anything to feel.
At least not the nightmares that they suffer from.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But look how they all end
pain.
up
No
in
pain.
the attic.
And she's pretty much like, you have the choice tonight. You're like, you're gonna get down on your knee and worship this thing and become one of us. One of us.
One of us.
One of us. One of us.
Yes. But he's got other plans. He's gonna break his thumb and get the fuck out of there.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
And that whole like build up.
Yep.
Oh god.
And then the sweet release. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he like bends it.
Yeah.
And he like
does that.
breaks it. Yeah.
Oh.
Woo!
And
Owie,
then-
owie.
Ooh, just imagining that. Oof.
No way, Jose.
I like my thumbs like this.
Yeah.
Where they're supposed to opposable.
Yeah. Right.
and functional. And then he's like roaming through the house. We're going through the house now, and he sees some shit's going on upstairs, and we're hearing this like weird like breathy whispers that have been going on through the whole house this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes upstairs, and he opens the door where it's coming from.
And then silence.
Oh yeah.
Nothing, and it's just like a procession of
Ugh.
corpses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Wooden-
But they're still alive, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's
So is it
what
a
it
corpse?
is that like the god keeps them alive, but their bodies just
They
Their
decompose.
bodies
still
still wither.
decompose.
Yeah.
Because they start moving, and we realize that moaning was them worshiping, essentially, and just they don't have lungs left. They're just almost deteriorating
Maggoty,
skeletons.
Yeah.
Made
But
out
they're
of
still alive.
Sticks.
They're still alive.
Ooh, so creepy.
Yeah. Ew. I kind of like that though.
Yes.
Mhm.
I like that
Yeah.
element to it.
Yeah.
It comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
No pain, but you're not really alive.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he starts
Just lights them one
lighting
by
them
one.
on, like their heads on fire. It's
Right.
like the skeletons' heads are all torches now. And he escapes out the side of the house, and we see the monster's like full body
Silhouette
for the
of
first
fire.
time, and it's this like deer elk looking thing.
With
The
Man
its head looked like
arms.
the thing in the attic at the
Yes.
beginning, where it's like it was
Mhm.
like this body almost with arms coming out of the bottom,
Mhm.
antlers coming up.
Yep.
And this
Little
weird little hole
hands
here with the
down
eyeballs.
Yeah.
crazy looking.
There's like a human body that's holding
Like
the
holding things. And,
the
antlers.
antlers.
Yeah,
and then little hands
little hands down here
for
to,
like
make it-
tusks.
Yeah. It was a cool looking monster.
I want to know if it's like actually a Norwegian like monster.
Mm.
You
Like
know
if
what
there's
I mean?
some truth or like
The
myth behind
mythology.
this.
Yeah.
See what the lore is behind this
Yeah.
creature.
Yeah.
Because I really did like that design. It was
cool.
like natural looking, like a tree, but also had these like human body elements, which
Mhm.
was really scary and
Because it was like the nose head area.
yeah,
Ooh.
it was a torso,
Yeah.
human torso. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And he's
Cool.
like, let me shoot this bitch.
And then he gets
This'll
a
do it.
gun
One
out of
bullet?
the cabin. Yeah.
Yeah, really. You
And it
thought-
just pisses it off.
Yeah,
But-
and now we're in
yeah.
a chase. We're in all a chase with the freaking
Oh,
monster.
but
I'm like,
I love this scene.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
It's
cool
So good.
because then it's like he's going through, like the convenience store opens because the monster's trying to stop him, but instead of stopping, he just runs through it.
Yep.
he
and
finally
that's-
does something.
Yeah. He actually goes through his pain and fear in order to get to the other side.
Uh-huh.
And he leaves it behind him.
Leaves it behind him.
He
Yeah.
runs through, and the monster's coming, and it like destroys like the convenience stores it's running through.
Mhm.
And then there's this kind of like brawl of sorts, and he's like looking around. He looks back, and there's only one light of the convenience store left, and it's silhouetting the monster. And then I think it like goes out, and then this is when we have the like axe battle, I
Mhm.
believe.
Because he
Which-
sees Rob too, right?
That's-
And
that's-
Rob looks like right at the axe, and he's
Mhm.
like,
Gotta
Yeah.
do it.
redemption.
Mhm.
Well, like he's forcing him to kneel.
Right.
He comes over
Well,
and
and then
like,
it
kneel.
like gets up on like its haunches into like this weird totem
Yeah.
pole looking thing
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
I think he needed to worship as well.
Right, and that's what I think Phil was doing when he was naked, and he was like, "I don't know what else to do. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared."
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, so that he was worshiping too, and he couldn't get out of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he stood up.
But he
Like-
stood up,
Yeah,
yeah, and he
he's
kept
standing
standing
up.
up, and yeah,
He kept standing up until the thing literally forced him down on the ground.
Yep.
And that's when he looked over and saw the axe in the foreground, and Rob bleeding out in the background. He's like, "All right, this is it. This
It's
is when
on.
I gotta
Mhm.
Fight.
take action." Begin.
Round 2.
Are you greater than your fears?
And he smacks it right in the head. Right
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
the torso head.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and it like slices him, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Oh, it has an effect.
It has some sort of effect. I was like, okay, well,
Magic
this isn't
axe.
like this demigod isn't like super tough. Like
Yeah.
an axe, really.
Well, right, but like all the things that worship him, like they just want to not feel their pain, so they worship him because they're freaked out.
Right.
Because if he releases the pain, then they have to feel the pain.
True.
But also, maybe this demigod, Demi Lovato,
The Demi
Uh,
Lovato.
like, maybe that's the only area that is actually, like, I don't know, flesh, I
Mm,
guess, that you
mm.
can
Oh,
kill.
Mm.
Like that's its weak point.
Yeah, that's
the
its
human part of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Right in the head.
Right in the hand. And it's not dead. It's not dead.
No, it gets injured, but it frees him. He
Mhm.
gets out of its like clutches, and that's when he runs out and he finds the edge of the woods.
Yeah.
And he's finally out and
Mhm.
free, and the monster can't cross the plane of the woods.
Stay
I
in
guess.
the woods. Yep.
And it's like ends with him screaming at the
Mhm.
monster.
That was awesome.
Like,
Uh,
I'm not fighting you!
Just letting it out. I
Yep.
think that
Letting
was
it out.
the
Yeah.
Sweet
first
release.
moment he's ever had letting it go.
He
Mhm.
has
letting
control.
a lot go.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's daybreak, a new day,
Mhm.
and he walks off.
And he's heading
And then
towards the
just-
lodge.
It just
Goodbye.
ends. Well, he sees that car in the distance.
It's like, oh,
Which, like,
that is what it is. Yeah.
what if it's still those people from the woods?
Ooh.
uh-oh.
Like,
Shit.
come on in.
Back to
he
the
opens the door
ritual.
and like the thing's in there driving the car.
How did you fit in here?
It's a Hummer.
It's a Hummer.
It's an
Wow, that is
H2.
not eco-friendly at all.
Right.
Well,
It
that's
should be
true.
driving a
You
smart
are-
car.
Oh.
You're
It's
a
a Prius
douche,
Hummer.
man.
It's a Hummer on like 48-inch rims.
Are you from
Oh, not
Texas?
Hummer. Prius, yeah, I said Prius. I'm
It's
from
a
Texas.
Prius, yeah.
So,
The Ritual.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
based on a book, too, apparently.
Based on a book. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like. So
Probably something
before we
probably
get
very
to
scary.
the ratings, I just want to ask final question. Why do you think it's called The Ritual?
Good question. I see it as a way for everybody to deal with their pain.
Mm.
We all go through our own like little rituals. Like at the beginning, when they make that little shrine for him, these
Mhm.
people in the woods are performing these rituals to rid themselves of pain from this monster. And even like the whole experience for Luke throughout the whole thing is almost a ritual of going through like his grief and coming out of it on the other side.
Mhm.
That's my
A lot of rituals. A lot of rituals.
Well, also this movie talks about potentially about alcoholism and the dangers of addiction and how those become a ritual when you're trying to repress feelings.
Mhm.
And it's the easiest way out. It's the easiest shortcut to getting rid of this pain, but you'll never be able to fully let go of it if you keep not addressing it.
Mhm.
So he faced it.
Mhm.
He was able to forgive himself,
He dealt
and in
with it.
some way, he was able to protect Rob at the end
Mm.
Mhm.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I remember the first time when I watched this movie, I remember thinking that I didn't understand why it was called it, but this time I really felt like rituals can mean a lot of things. It's a weighty word, you know, so
Mhm.
a lot can go into it. So I think they do a really good job of kind of showing a lot of different kinds of rituals throughout this movie in different ways.
Yeah. And I want to
The good
know
and the
more
bad.
about the demigod. Like,
Yeah. Oh, for
what
sure.
exactly is it's like he ultimately puts your worst fears into play.
Right.
To
And-
paralyze you.
Yeah, to paralyze you. So yeah, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty scary.
That's scary.
That's
Really
scary.
I also like how they don't really hold it. They hold off showing the monster for a really long time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was really good.
Built
Very-
up tension was very well done in this movie,
Mhm.
for sure.
It wasn't truly creepy, but like with it all being together, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're just like confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
How, that was my initial.
You're lost in the
Feeling.
woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't
I'm
know-
lost in
you
my
don't know what's going on.
pain.
I'm lost.
My pants.
My pants free. Free pants. Free pants. All right, let's get to some smashed pumpkin raging.
Yeah.
For the ritual. Let's start with you, Zach.
Me first.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I really enjoyed this movie. It had me wondering what was going on. It had me feeling stressed out, claustrophobic. The way that the shots were done was really great. Good cinematography, really good acting,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like is sometimes hard to find in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of really cool subtext and plot devices and like good character arcs. So I'm gonna give it a 4.7.
Whoa.
Nice, 4.7. Tim A.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to ditto a lot of what you're saying, Zach.
Diddle away.
Because like the character arcs were solid. All the characters had their archetype, and they followed it very fully. And I was impressed with how simple it was, but how effective it was. So 4.4.
4.4.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm giving it a 4.8. Just because I also, those convenience scenes
So cool.
are so good. I like the writing of it. I think it was also well acted, so all the themes and moods and everybody's just like characters came through and made us see everybody's kind of like arc and downfall. But yeah, and it was just shot beautifully and edited very well. Very well.
Yeah.
So
It was a very, very just well done movie. It really was. Just overall, they hit those themes super hard, and they gave us a lot to talk about in the end. And they really followed through with a lot of the things that they set up literally within the first 10 minutes of the movie, which was great. It felt extremely satisfying, a very satisfying movie. And even though it ends really with us not knowing what, even if he finds civilization,
Right.
we feel like he at least has gone through this catharsis of moving on and accepting the past.
he's out of the woods.
He's out of the woods.
Yep.
He's out of the woods. Yeah, it was great. It really was. I think I am going to give it I think I'm going to go 4.8 as well.
Hell yeah.
Dang.
Why'd you hate it so much, Tim?
I guess
How dare you,
I
Tim?
saw. Yeah.
No, you're good.
No, I did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a 4.4 is great.
I think
That
it's
is great. Yeah.
fantastic movie.
So the last thing that we have to do, this is going to be kind of interesting because we have two guests.
Hello.
We have to pick the next week's movie.
Do you want to do it to like
Both
Like
going
both
together.
Oh, yes.
A
Do it,
double-
guys.
Double team it. There you go.
I got one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna read it, you read
Yeah.
it. How about that?
Oh, there's two of them.
No, it's just a long piece
Oh,
of paper.
There you go.
The log line.
420.
Please.
Yes. Or what do we got?
The next one. Should I read the description first?
Yes, please.
All right. While a zombie virus breaks out in South Korea, passengers struggle to survive on the train from Seoul to Busan.
Are you fucking kidding me? I just saw this one like 2
Really?
days ago.
Really?
Really?
Yes. with
What's it
my
called?
little baby nephew. It is Train to Busan.
Train to Busan.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, I heard
That
about
is
one.
so crazy.
Perfect.
Because
That's a good one.
my little
Yeah.
nephew was there, and I was so proud that was his first horror film, and I was there.
Nice.
Just have him as a guest.
Huh?
Just have him
There
as a
you go.
guest.
Can
How
I
old
invite
is
my
he?
little baby? 5 months old.
Perfect. Oh, perfect.
I don't know if he should smoke pot though. That young.
No, that's
Well,
She would never. I'm just joking.
Come on, her parents watched this.
Sorry.
Come on.
Well, that's great. We'll be taking a trip to Busan next week.
nice.
Yeah.
On
If we
location.
make it.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Cool. Well, thank you both for coming on and being
Hell
part
yeah.
of this very
Anytime.
special episode.
Thanks for having us.
Please plug yourself if you would like.
You can go first.
All right. Tim Ashby. I'm an actor here in Chicago. If you want to go on my website, tim-ashby.com.
It's a good-looking
Um,
website.
Should have been Tim Dashby.
I know. See, I did think
Ooh.
that.
Tim Ashby.
But I thought it'd be too confusing for my professional website. So I have that. And I have my Instagram handle is at CALLAMAZOOPARAKEET. Kalamazoo Parakeet. Don't ask me why.
It should be
Okay.
Tim Dashby.
Tim
Dashby.
Damn.
Damn, all these things.
He's so dashy.
He's
Dashby.
Dashby.
Wow.
I'm Zach Stroman. I am not an actor here in Chicago, but I do produce and make music. So you can find some music coming up on a page on Instagram, Stupid Period
Ooh.
Fingers. I will be hopefully getting that up and running very soon, probably by the time that this is released. And also, I do have a short video that a buddy of mine and I made that will be releasing shortly as well, called Somewhere in Chicago. You can find that on Facebook, and we will be putting it up on YouTube and with the original theme music on Spotify done by myself.
Woo!
Hell of a
Really
plug.
awesome
Very
stuff
cool.
coming up.
Jeez.
You can just follow me on Instagram, Color Me Leslie. I'm also oh, hold on. I'm also an actress. Okay, that's it. Your turn.
And me at BeatBeatRichieT. You can also find us at the Deadlights Pod on
Yes.
Instagram. Also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we are recording this in. But until next time.
Words are hard.
What
Uh,
is time?
If
420.
we make it
Just
out of
Time is a
this.
construct.
Just big circle.
Until next,
Ritual.
let's get spooky. Y'all.
Ooh.
What is that in the trees?
Beyond.
It's time.
It's time.